Hey everybody, good evening. Dr. Mark here in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Another wrap up to a beautiful, beautiful day. I love that I get to say that so often. I'm laughing because I just got a phone message from a toll-free number. So it gets me that people can afford to pay for a toll-free number, but I guess enough people fall for scams, telling me that I paid for computer support some time ago and that computer support, the company is going out of business and I should call this toll-free number to get my money back. and, so on the theme of authenticity, which is where we're going tonight, of course, I think this company needs to have a little better idea of who my authentic self is because I'm pretty good with a computer. I wouldn't be paying them for computer support. So that's my funny for the moment. But anyway, welcome back to our Facebook Live this evening, and it's the first of an 8-week installment that is going through a mini course that I put together at the beginning of the year for during one of the lunar eclipses, and um, and it is called 8 Days to Authenticity. So of course we're going to be going through it in 8 weeks because we're not going to do Facebook Live every day for 8 days, but we will do it once a week for 8 weeks and give you more time to work through this program. So if you haven't already, and it's fine if you haven't, be sure and download a copy of the 8 Days to Authenticity workbook. Those are my feet in Italy somewhere. um, be sure to download the workbook. You can find it at drmarkacure.com. You'll see it right down here, and click on the resources tab and then free downloads, and you'll see that free download there along with some others. You can use this booklet that I put together earlier this year to kind of guide you through and to take notes on as you work through the segments over the next 8 weeks. So 8 days to authenticity. As you know, I believe you know by now that authenticity is core to everything that I do. Every bit of the work that I do is going to come back to authenticity in one way or another. So no matter what I call it, no matter what the program, no matter whether it's an e-course or a live workshop or a book, it's always going to go back to authenticity in one way or another. And hopefully, since we do things in all those different ways, it'll come back in a lot of different ways and not be too repetitive. But authenticity is so key. And I was just thinking a few minutes ago about um, I forgot what I was thinking about. I had an apple this morning disappear because I forgot whether I ate it or not. And it's gone. So I'm assuming I ate it, but I have no memory of doing that. So I think my authentic self is getting older now that I'm 58. No offense to anyone who's 58 or older than that, but I'm noticing some differences. Anyway, but I was thinking about authenticity a few moments ago, and whatever it is will come back to me. But in terms of I was thinking of when people say there used to be much more popular the letters WWJD, what would Jesus do? And I'm a big fan of that for folks that are religious and follow Jesus, or spiritual and follow Jesus as a teacher, which I certainly do myself. Um, but what I'm asking here is, what would you do? What would you do? What would you do in given situations? And that's what it means to be living an authentic life, living from your place of authenticity, responding and even reacting if you get really good at it, where you don't have to think too much about it, but responding for sure to challenges and situations and people and everything else that goes on in life from that authentic place of who you are. And you don't need to ask what other people would do. You ask yourself what you would do, and that's all that really matters in the end. So 8 Days to Authenticity was put together to help guide people, to guide you through the process of discovering who you really are at warp speed. If you can do it in 8 days, feel free to do it. You don't have to watch the rest of these videos, but I hope you watch them anyway, because I'm going to share a lot more information in the next 8 weeks that you'll find in the workbook than you'll find in the workbook. Um, Week one. So every week, what we're going to do is sort of get closer and closer to that authentic self by looking at aspects of you in different situations and in different ways, so that you can get a variety, seven, in fact, different glimpses of aspects of who you really are. And then in the 8th week, on the 8th day, technically, what I'll ask you to do is to put all that together into a story of who you are. So for the first week, what I'm going to ask you to do is simply to do something. Now, we have to begin cracking the shell. And in fact, that's what I called this segment of videos, cracking the shell. We've got to begin to break that exterior that we've gotten used to. And the exterior, the facade, I guess, of who we present to the world. And even for some of us, that's a pretty authentic self. But it's not perfect, because remember, we've talked a long time ago about, and different times along the way, about those first 7 years in life where we are programmed. The Jesuits call it the give me the boy and I'll give you the man. Give me the boy for 7 years and I'll give you the man. Those 7 years when we're literally not really conscious beings yet, and we're just absorbing all of the information that we're being given. And that gets into our unconscious mind, and that ends up shaping who we end up believing we really are. And the problem is that it's usually not. It's a composite of who other people, important to others in our life, have thought we should be. So when we get to the point in our life where we are able to start making decisions and we start to face challenges on our own and find that we're kind of ill-equipped to deal with them because we don't quite know what to do, or what we've been taught to do just doesn't feel right, it doesn't resonate, we know there's something wrong, that's because there's a disconnect between your authentic self and what you've been taught is your authentic self. And when we begin to have those experiences, we have to begin to chip away at the shell, that exterior, that facade that we are presenting to the world around us. Begin to chip away so that we can get a look at what's inside, and then begin to build up that authentic self so that we can create a new shell that will really be who we really are. So the first exercise, it's so simple. It's simply to ask you to do, between now and next week, to do something different, very, very intentionally, one thing different. And what I suggest in the workbook is that you simply, whatever your routine may be for a typical work day, or if you work on weekends, a weekend, whatever your routine is, whether you drive to work or drive to school or drive to the gym or drive to the grocery store, or something that you do repetitively, even if it's not every day, when you get in the car or when you walk, if you're walking, when you ride your bike, if you ride your bike, if you ski to the store, depending on where you live, maybe you do that, whatever it is, snowshoe, change the music or whatever it is that you listen to on the radio, on the audio, on your iPod, on whatever it is that you listen to music on, or other programming. Just change it. Whatever it is, change it. Change it to something else that you like, of course, but change it from what you typically listen to. When I go to the gym, pretty much every day, Monday through Friday, and I don't work out every day, but every day I do the elliptical. So on the elliptical, sometimes I listen to audiobooks, but more than that, I just put on, I don't know why I put country music on when I'm on the elliptical, but I do. Modern country has a good beat to it. And so that's pretty much what I do every morning. So if that's the case, maybe I would just change it to classic country or classical music, which I also love. And I listen to that usually when I'm working. But do something different in that moment that is different than typical. And that's all I ask you to do on the first day of your on your eight days to authenticity. So this week, what I'm going to ask you is simply to change the radio station or whatever it is that you listen to something different, something that you like as well. And then do that for a couple of days, and then come to the workbook that you've got. And on this page, I want you to answer a couple questions, 3 questions actually. Number 1, what station or what other genre, whatever, if it's an audiobook, what did you listen to instead? Easy, jot it down. Number 2, were there any things, I have a typo here, were there any things surprising about that? Oh, was there any things surprising about that? So, got to fix that typo. Was anything surprising about the choice that you made? Especially if you didn't think about it very much. If you just picked something different, you knew you'd like it anyway, but in retrospect, was there anything surprising by the choice that you ended up making? Write about it a bit. And then number 3, what did you learn about yourself or reinforce about what you already know about yourself? So what did you learn from yourself from the choice that you made? Did you choose something completely different because you just I don't know, needed to get out of the mold a little bit. So you chose, instead of, like I said before, instead of the modern country, you put on a classical station. Or if you can stand something like heavy metal, maybe that's what you put on instead. What did you learn about yourself by making that choice? What was it like to make the choice? How easy was it? Did you really give it any thought? Or are you the kind of person that if you're told to do something different, you just kind of pick something randomly and don't really give much thought to it? Or what did it reinforce about what you already knew? Are you a creature of habit, perhaps? And like me, if I was told to change a radio station from modern country, I might change it to classical country instead of something completely different like classical music, and stay in that country genre because that's what I listen to when I'm on the elliptical at the gym. If you're that kind of person, did you learn that about yourself? Did you reinforce that about yourself? So reflect a little bit. Take a few minutes after a few days, since we're not just doing this one day at a time, or I should say day after day sequentially for 1 week. We're going to do it over a course of 8 weeks. Change the station for a few days, see what it's like, get a feel for it, and then come back to the workbook that you've downloaded, drmarkcurie.com, resources tab, free downloads, and reflect a little bit on these questions. What did you choose? Was there anything surprising about the choice in retrospect? Did you choose something maybe you didn't even think you would like, but you did? Um, and what did you learn about yourself or reinforce about yourself given the choice that you made? The whole purpose of this is to simply begin to crack the shell, to get out of you, to get you out of a routine that's pretty simple to get out of. It doesn't have to be dramatic. You don't have to go out and buy a new wardrobe, although you can do that if you have lots of money and the interest. Something simple, something doable, something manageable for most of us, something within reach, but something that begins to crack the shell. And you'll see as we move forward in the weeks to come, that we're going to build on that week by week in bigger and bigger ways, that even though they're bigger, they're going to feel just as easy because you'll have laid the groundwork already. You've got that shell cracked. So that's what I'm asking you this week. Change your radio station. Let us know how it goes in the comments below. Let us know how it goes at drmarkcurie.com if you like, on the videos archives page where you'll find this video as well. And you can make comments wherever it is that you happen to do that. I'll be happy to answer those comments, kind of reflect a little bit with you, give my impressions of them if you like, and keep the conversation going. So yes, 8 days to authenticity. We're going to be doing it in 8 weeks instead. Always better to go a little slower. Why not? And do download the workbook at, you think I get this right, drmarkcurie.com, resources tab, Facebook Live archives. Blessings to you all this evening. Thank you so much for being here. And I can't wait to hear what your experiences are like. Ciao for now.